Welcome back to Talk It Out with Marla P, where we explore the stories, strategies, and tools that help people level up in their personal and professional lives. I'm your host, Marla, and today we have a truly inspiring guest with us. Ebai is a passionate public speaking coach who has dedicated his career to empowering aspiring speaking professionals. Ebai has delivered countless presentations that promote personal growth and inspire positive change. He's also a proud member of Forbes BLK, where he advocates for diversity, equity, and inclusion in organizations and community. His mission is to help professional speakers present with elegance, eloquence, and ease. And he provides speakers with practical tools, tips, and techniques to create presentations that not only provoke thought, but also touch hearts and drive action. Thank you so much for joining me on today. I'm thrilled to
Thank
have
you.
you on.
I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. Let's dive right in. You've built an incredible career as a public speaking coach. Can you start by telling us a little bit about your journey? What led you to become so passionate about helping others with their public speaking?
Sure. Thank you for having me here today. Well, concerning my journey is quite has been a mixture of fascination and a daunting experience because I grew up in a home where my biological mother, is a teacher, and I grew up in that teaching atmosphere. And I think that atmosphere really made me catch the teaching thing. I will call it that way. And so while I grew up, I always wanted to be a journalist. I always wanted to do something that has to do with me speaking and other people listening to whatever I had to say or I have to say. And so as I grew up, I remember the only birthday I've really celebrated was when I was 4 years old. And then by then, I already started wanting to be a journalist, always watching the news because I was fascinated by the dynamism of certain journalists and I wanted to be like them. So growing up, I always had that in mind. Then,
Hmm.
like to secondary school, I did sciences. And so as I did the sciences, I guess because that's the best information I had then. So I took a decision to study engineering, which of course did not work for me because I, that wasn't my field. And so
Right.
I started wanting to discover around 2019, wanting to discover what exactly I'm passionate about, what I really want since I saw that engineering wasn't working. And so I got to attend some programs online about personal development, purpose discovery. And with all of that I learned, I understood that it's better for me to start a career in something which I feel passionate about. Nonetheless, I was afraid to take a step to leave the engineering school
Hmm.
because I was afraid of the way my parents would take the news. So in 2022, late 2022, I took a decision to stop and focus on what is going to give me joy. And before then, that's 2019, I started a platform where I was teaching people on public speaking. Actually, I started teaching on many skills, but then I decided to focus on public speaking. And I noticed that I found a lot of joy, satisfaction in doing it. And that really has helped me because I am now focused. I know what I want, and I don't just go for any kind.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Very inspiring. So, your mission is to help professional speakers present with elegance, eloquence, and ease. What will you say is the secret to presenting with confidence while also staying authentic?
Okay. Confidence, authenticity, in my opinion, they move hand in glove because with authenticity, you do not want to fake it. You do not,
Mhm.
so even if you're creating stories that never happened, you do not want to create stories that will make the audience feel disconnected. You want to create relatable stories. So authenticity has to do with you delivering and has a little connotation of vulnerability. So authenticity has to do with you recognizing your strengths in
Mhm.
your delivery. For instance, not everybody speaks or presents the same way. Some people motivate us, some people are analytical, some people are conversational, and there are different speaking styles. And so knowing your speaking style is where authenticity comes in. Doing it the right way, doing it with trust in yourself and in your strength is where confidence is. Now, if you want to deliver with authenticity and confidence, you begin by knowing your speaking style. Once you've discovered your speaking style, you can now deliver with authenticity. But to do it with confidence, it begins from preparation. Preparation accounts for a huge percentage of the confidence with which a speaker presents. Because once you are doubting, or maybe once you do some little mistakes, it can make you to go off your feet. So these are the ways in which you can present with authenticity and with confidence.
I love that. Very great points. I love that. So, for those who struggle with nerves or anxiety before speaking, what advice would you offer to help them manage those feelings and show up with confidence?
Okay, nervousness, anxiety. Well, every public speaker at some point in their lives will have to face it. That's part of the growth process. The big public speaking is in the fact that nervousness, we have stress. Those are two different energies. But with nervousness, it's easy to conquer nervousness before your presentation. You do not go, you do not conquer nervousness on stage. You conquer it before you get to the stage. How can you conquer it before you get to the stage? You have to rest well. You have to observe a good sleeping routine. Number two, you have to make sure you are hydrated.
Mm,
There are certain signals when you do on stage, like licking your lips. It shows that you're sending a signal that you're not very confident, probably you don't know what you're doing, and it can be a result of dehydration. Another thing is you have to keep fit. You have to do physical exercises because physical exercises release hormones that permit you to relax better or to think better. And that is why some personal development experts always advise that you do your fitness exercise in the morning, and then in the very moment you have to read something, because that's the best time when you can retain. Another thing you have to do is consistent practice. Practice 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 A few days ago I said train like an athlete. Don't think that magically somehow you're going to figure out your presentation on stage. You have to practice, and don't leave anything to chance. The other thing you have to do is to visualize success. You need to think that you are going to be successful. One fun fact about most audiences is that most audiences are actually more forgiving than we think they are. There is no
mm,
audience that is waiting for you to fail. Most
right.
audiences are empathetic. They want you to succeed. They are there to listen to you. They support you. That is why even in cases where the speaker is messing up, you find people clapping because they actually want to support the speaker. So think about imagine that you are going to be successful. Think about it, speak positively to yourself, and
Mm,
also try to focus on the needs of the audience. Focusing on the needs of the audience takes your attention off of you and gives and puts you in the position of a servant, so that when you want to serve, you think less about and more about the others. So having this, doing these few things which I suggested will help you a lot in dealing with nervousness.
I love
And
that.
another thing I'd like you to have in mind that is that nervousness fades. The more time you spend on stage, it's going to fade. In the first few seconds or minutes, your heart may be pounding, you may be having sweaty palms and feeling unsure, but you have to push it. In a few minutes' time, you will notice that feeling is fleeting. And so it will permit you to get used to the stage and to present with confidence. Thank you.
Love that. Good
Thank you.
stuff. Dropping some good gems. In your experience, what's the biggest mistake speakers make when they're trying to engage an audience, and how can they avoid it?
Okay, thank you. I believe that mistakes most speakers make are not really out of arrogance, they may
Mhm.
be out of ignorance. In some cases, some speakers believe that a powerful or memorable presentation should be one in which you are screaming at the audience. You have to use voice modulation, but you have to know that you don't have to scream. You don't have to scream at your audience. It's good to raise your voice when you're trying to pass across your point, but it's important for you to be able to measure when your voice is going already above the living room voice. Because anything above your living room voice, honestly, especially if you are already using a mic, a vocal aid, it is not necessary. And so we sometimes the speaker may scream without knowing, and that really makes people check out emotionally. Another mistake which speakers can make when trying to engage an audience is showing off. When you make your speech about yourself, talking about your achievement, what you did for this and this person all the time, you are making your audience to tune out. You will not know, they will not tell you, but if you're observant, you will start seeing reactions. Some reactions, people will pick up their phones, people will be checking the clock, people will start conversing with each other, or people may even start feeling, you may see the sitting positions of people are getting too comfortable because they've checked out emotionally. They're thinking about going to the park, walking their dog, or doing something else because you have succeeded in distracting them by showing them that you are too big to be there. Another thing which a speaker can make as a mistake in trying to engage an audience is to make jokes that are not funny. Not all
Right.
jokes are funny. And even if you must inject humor into your presentation, it must be contextual. It must be very contextual, and it must be jokes that culturally, politically, religiously, socially, and psychologically relate to your audience's goals and your audience's needs at the moment. And so these are some mistakes that speakers can make amidst others, a lot of others that we see people making contextually in Africa here. We don't really welcome people presenting with their hands in their pocket. This is for the African setting. Here, if you do that, it looks like you're rude because we do not put hands in the pocket when talking to elders. So that's the culture here. That's not
Okay.
culture. So there, and also there's certain things that you do or say that can make people just wonder, where are you from? So these are a few
Oh,
things. Mhm.
yeah. Well, it's good to know.
Yeah.
It's good to do your research before you go to, to
Yes. It's
other
very true.
countries. So that's good stuff. So you've had the opportunity to grace many stages and deliver presentations that foster personal growth and positive change. What do you think is the key to crafting a presentation that truly resonates with an audience?
Okay, the key to presenting or giving a presentation that resonates with your audience is to take note of the keyword resonate.
Mhm.
In physics, for something to resonate, it means there are vibrations that are in line or in sync. And so you must say something that means a lot to them. To do this, you do your research as you suggested before you present. And in doing your research, what do you want to know? I suggest that you draw your ideal audience. You can take a bold marker on a whiteboard and draw somebody anyhow you want to draw it. Just sketch somebody with hands and legs and a face and a trunk. Now look at their eyes. What do they see? What is their vision for the future? What are those
Mhm.
things that they see? How do they see themselves in the next 5 minutes or 5 years or 5 days or 5 weeks or 5 months? What is their vision? You need to understand it before you even go there. So you do your research. You do your research about your audience. What is their vision? The next thing, talking about their head, their mind. What are
Mhm.
their fears, their greatest fears, their worries, the things that disturb them, the things that make them not feel comfortable, the things that they wish somebody could help them overcome. This helps you to make your speech effective because when you know somebody's greatest fears, you are able to bring it up in your
Mhm.
speech, in your presentation, and propose practical solutions. People will remember you for what you said. People will remember what you said. They will not forget. And that is why
Yes.
you see great speakers like Martin Luther King Jr., who I admire a lot. He knew how to paint the struggles of the black man in his context, and he knew how to paint a future, a desirable future with his words. And so
Yes.
you have to understand their mindset. You have to understand how they think by getting to know their worries, their worst fears, their dreams and aspirations. For the hands, what do they do for a living? Probably what they do for a living may give you a clue as to handling a particular difficulty they have. For the leg, where do they go to? Where do they meet? Do they have shared interest? Where can you find them most of the time? This is information that when you have about your audience, you can tailor your presentation in such a way that addresses their needs. Because a memorable presentation is a presentation that addresses people's needs and actually proposes practical solutions.
Love it.
Thank
Love
you.
it. Good information.
Thank you.
Very good information. Um, as a proud member of Forbes BLK, you've committed to promoting diversity, equity, and inclusion. How do these values influence your work with speakers, and why is it so important to address them in the world of public speaking?
Inclusivity is actually a key to success now more than ever.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to be speaking, you're not going to be speaking only to a particular set of people all the time. Even if
Right.
you're a Christian, you may find yourself speaking to a set of people among whom there are people who belong to other religions. And
Mm-hmm.
so this helps you, inclusivity and the concept of diversity helps the public speaker and me understand people, understand people's point of views, and it
Mm-hmm.
gives the opportunity to be balanced in dishing out your information. You do not want to leave anybody out. You do not want
Right.
to make anybody feel excluded. So
Mm-hmm.
we through the Forbes BLK community, we are encouraged to accept people the way they are and help them become better versions of themselves. The public speaker, in this case, contextually has to work in such a way that he accommodates or his presentation provides allowance for other people. You don't condemn things without knowing why people have hold on to those opinions. You don't speak ill of other people from other religions or political settings. You do not try to tarnish the image of people through your presentation, or you do not make some statements that are sarcastic, offensive.
Mm-hmm.
This actually just helps to place the public speaker in check and helps him to channel his speech or his presentation in such a way that makes people feel welcome, makes people feel at home, and makes people feel valued.
Wow. I love it. I love it.
Thank you.
So, as a thought leader in your field, what is the one piece of advice you will give to someone just starting their journey towards becoming a professional speaker?
If you are starting your journey to becoming a professional speaker, please do not be afraid of making mistakes.
Mhm.
Mistakes are a part of the journey. Growth is painful. The growth in public speaking is painful because you may try many things and it may not work. You may organize events and people will not show up. You may have webinars. I've had webinars before, I think one, 2023, 2022, and nobody showed up. You may you may probably be looking for partnerships and nobody is interested. You
Mhm.
have to keep your head up high and you have to make sure that you deliver your presentations with excellence. Do not be afraid to invest in learning. Do not be afraid of making mistakes. Make the mistakes and learn from them. Don't wallow in failure. Don't be a crybaby. Don't expect people to babysit you. When if you need to, okay, if you want to lament, cry if you must, but don't let your tears blur your vision. Okay.
Good
Make
point.
sure that you try to grow, to learn, connect with other speakers. Do not compete with people you are supposed to collaborate with. Connect with other
Say that
speakers.
again. Can you
Do
say
not
that again?
compete with people you are supposed to collaborate with.
I love it.
Yeah, connect with other speakers in the same field. Join communities. I've given a lot of advice. You asked for one, but I've given several already. Join communities. I've discovered in the recent year that communities are the fastest way in which somebody can grow. If you cannot do something on your own, join a community. Join a team of people who are doing it and work. Don't be afraid to also volunteer your services. Some people feel afraid to demand speaking opportunities because they feel that they are going to be turned down or that they are going to be seen as a beggar. So please public speaker listening to this video, if you are just starting out, do not be afraid to make mistakes. If you know what you've been called to present as your personal calling or your purpose, go for it. Invest in learning, take good care of your health, and take good care of your money.
That's so true. That is so, so true. Oh my goodness. You've worked with numerous speakers. What is the most rewarding part of your work as a coach? And how do you measure success in your client's journey?
Okay, the most rewarding, you're saying this, and a broad smile is traveling across my face. And the most rewarding part of my coaching experience is when people get to me and they say things like, "Well, I'm happy from your teachings because I applied them in so and so place and they worked." Now, I have two very recent testimonies. One from a lady, Cameroonian, my friend, who is in another town. So she was in my community and she was following up the lessons we're having with me and other speakers. And she took the lessons on nervousness very seriously. She worked on them. She didn't really have opportunities to speak. So at her local church, she was given an opportunity to teach a lesson. And since their ministry is based on leadership, so she had to give a leadership lesson. And so on this particular Sunday, she got to me and she was very excited. And she said, "How your lessons on posture, positioning, I tried to apply it and I saw that people were connecting with what I was doing. It's one of my
Mm.
very first steps, but I'm so happy that I did it." Such comments or such remarks actually give me renewed courage in the continuance of my humble efforts, because it's a testament that at least we are doing something. At least we are doing something. So that has been one of my greatest, apart from recommendations. People can recommend you here and there, and then you get a recommendation. It makes you happy that at least other speakers are seeing my worth. But once you have somebody you've mentored getting back to you and giving you real time feedback, it actually gives you a lot of joy. In my case, we are training people because I work with a team. We train
Mhm.
people and we give them the opportunity, we give them platforms where they can go and speak on their passion, speak on their values or whatever, and then they get real time feedback. And we this is how we measure our impact, by following them up until they are able to get access to platforms, access or
Mhm.
create theirs. If they cannot access, they can create theirs. We help them to create theirs or to access, and then when we get the testimonies, we are able to know that we have created it.
I love it. I
Thank you.
love it. You're doing some great work. I love it. Love it. So, Ebai, what's next for you?
What's next for me?
Mhm. You have any goals or that you're working on or that you can speak on now or
Yes, of course. We have my team. When I say we, it's because I have a team. My team, actually, we're working on putting together or establishing, in a real sense, a framework that will permit people to grow and in
Mhm.
the area of communications. And we are planning to grow our team into a consultancy. So we want to be
Mm,
able to not only train people in the area of public speaking, but to touch other areas of communication, like corporate communication. I'm
okay.
actually taking a bachelor's degree in corporate communication. And so
Nice.
we're trying to grow into that. And we want people to be good communicators, to communicate with the right etiquettes, to communicate with the right etiquette. So our plan is to work through this year with certain programs that we are going to launch two of them, and these programs are meant to actually help people, about 50 people minimum, to start their journey properly by accessing platforms where they can share their messages, share their voices with the rest of the world. So that's our plan for this year.
Okay.
Mm.
I hope you accomplished everything that you set out for, you and your
Thank
team. I really do. So, if listeners want to learn more about your coaching services or stay connected with you, where's the best place for them to find you?
Listeners can typically find me on LinkedIn and on Facebook. I am
Okay.
Ebai Ekwet. Unfortunately, somebody spammed one of my accounts a few years ago, but you can find me on LinkedIn because I'm the only Ebai Ekwet on LinkedIn for now.
Mhm.
And you can also find me on Instagram. I am the only Ebai Ekwet on Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's awesome. Well, again, thank you so much for taking the time to speak on my podcast. I enjoyed every moment of it. Your wisdom and insights are so valuable. And I know my audience has learned a lot today because I have. Do you have any final thoughts before we wrap things up?
Yes, I have a final thought. My final thought is please do not, in trying to present your idea, it is important not to fake it. Do not fake any part of your presentation. You do not need to talk like anybody. You do not need to sound like anybody. Be yourself, be your real self, be your authentic self, and be yourself. If
Mhm.
you are not yourself, nobody else is going to be you. Be yourself and just do what you have to do, deliver it with excellence.
Love it. Thank you so much. Well, before I leave today, I would like to leave my audience with my motto: when you see the need, plant the seed. Okay. Until next time, don't forget to follow Ebai on his social media platforms. If you have any questions, you can reach out to him and definitely support him and leave a comment and like the video.
Thank,
Okay. Thank you. Have a good day.
thank you. Same to you.
Thank you. Bye.